A little bit of Yves-François Blanchet of the Bloc Québécois versus Mark Carney of the Liberals last night. That exchange on government support for various industries. Blanchet making the case that when Ontario's affected, Mark Carney was there with money for Canadian workers, but he brought up two industries in Quebec, aluminum and lumber, that have not received an equivalent amount of support. Mark Carney there saying at the end that Blanchet's points were not true. Let's find out what Antonine Yaccarini thinks about that and more. She's a political analyst, a PR expert, and a former PQ and CAQ staffer. Hi, Antonine. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So 6 p.m. last night, you had popcorn, and what'd you think?
No, I was making the dinner, so I was watching on the iPad while my kids were talking to me at the same time. It was not the ideal time to hold that debate, I have to say. But I understand that hockey is really, really important, so I was okay with the decision.
I just want to say I feel for you because 6 o'clock, it's dinner time, right? I got a 15-month-old at home, so my wife and I, that's what we were taking care of. I pressed pause. And I watched it in tape delay, basically. Like I watched it at 6:30, from 6:30 to 8:30.
Good solution.
Okay, Antonine, talk to me here. Obviously, they were probably the candidates, the various candidates, except for Carney, were trying to move the needle. Mark Carney is trying to get at least stability and come out alive. What do you think happened in your estimation last night?
I think the big thing with this debate is I don't think it's going to change anything in the course of this campaign. Mark Carney only needed not to lose in order to win. He was very careful. He wasn't aggressive, of course. He's not very comfortable in French. We knew that, so the expectations were really, really low. I noted that he struggled to deliver as many messages than the other leaders. 1 minute of Mark Carney talking has a lot less content than 1 minute of Yves-François Blanchet talking. So it was not full of content for Mr. Carney, but I feel like it doesn't have a big importance right now. I think he needs to maintain that idea that he is trustworthy, he is the right person to face the crisis we are in. And even if we didn't talk much about the U.S. crisis yesterday, it's the elephant in the room.
So let me ask you, because I thought there were multiple points where the candidates did differentiate themselves, right? I talk about the pipeline subject, right? And, obviously Yves-François Blanchet coming out, very much that no, he's not in favor of a pipeline going through Quebec. You had Mark Carney saying that he'd push for it, but he'd want complete social acceptability from Indigenous communities, from Quebecers, right? And yet Pierre Poilievre said, basically he's going to do it. So those are three pretty different takes, different options. I saw multiple times where the candidates did show they disagree, yet no needles were moved. Why do you think that is?
I think because the Conservatives' vision about pipelines and energy and oil is so different. But, in Quebec, during the French debate, Quebecers are not really interested in those issues. I don't think they are completely opposed to any pipelines. But to see Mr. Poilievre presenting that like an extraordinary society project to have this pipeline, and it seems to be very easy in his head, building that big pipeline, like it won't cost a lot, like the Indigenous people don't exist. So I think on that point, Mr. Blanchet did a very good job. And for Mr. Carney, he didn't say no. He said, we don't need to do that. And I think he won this argument with that very simple sentence.
Okay, so I want to ask you about Yves-François Blanchet and the Bloc, because it seems like last night was the urgent night for him, right?
Absolutely.
He had to move the needle because there's so many Quebecers, we keep hearing it, that have just said, you know what, maybe I'm nationalist, maybe I'm even a sovereignist, but this time around we're fighting Trump, I'm going to vote for Carney. Do you think Yves-François Blanchet treated last night with enough urgency?
Yes, I think he did. I think he did a good job, but it's very, very hard to move the needle right now. The expectations for Mr. Blanchet were really, really high. He's the most comfortable in French. He's very well experienced. Everybody thinks he's a great communicator. So he was under pressure. And I think he was able to bring examples, concrete examples of issues that are specific in Quebec and that the federal government doesn't seem to care about. You had this clip at the before our conversation about aluminium industry in Quebec. I think it's a very effective example. A lot of different topics that were discussed yesterday were not really the best topics for the Bloc Québécois. You know, talking about housing and pipelines, and you know, it's not the best topics for the Bloc Québécois to be able to talk about the relevance of having many Bloc Québécois MPs in Ottawa. That's the challenge, to convince people that they don't need to be scared of the Conservative. They don't need to vote for Mark Carney to block the Conservatives, because I hear that a lot in Quebec. It seems like the Conservatives are scaring a lot of people off right now, and it pushes the voters to turn to Mark Carney, even if they are nationalists, because they are scared of Pierre Poilievre and of Donald Trump. So the fear is really, really present right now, and it's not a good news for Yves-François Blanchet. And sometimes he tries to tell the voters that it's not that dangerous, it's not that important. This crisis will have an end. And I think that it doesn't help people to be less scared. It's the opposite, actually. And he adjusted that message. Yesterday he said, yes, this is serious. Yes, we need to take action about the tariffs and the crisis with the U.S., but let's not forget about the other issues. I think he did that yesterday.
Let me ask you, with Antonine Yaccarini, political analyst and PR expert. Antonine, there's been a look at the Google searches during the debate, okay? And I said this about half an hour ago. There were more Google searches for Pierre Poilievre than the other candidates, okay? And it's sometimes during the debate by quite a bit, okay? You're a PR expert here. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, are people Google searching when they like what they're hearing, or are they Google searching and they're like, oh my God, this guy's crazy, I have to Google search now? What do you think that means?
I think both can be true. I think that reminds us how debates are important. We listen to all the news, we read everything, we are news addicts. So we know everything that's going on during this campaign, but let's not forget that out of our bubble, a lot of voters won't listen to everything. So the debate is the main occasion to get to know those leaders. And Mr. Poilievre, he can raise some doubts sometimes in Quebec, I think. People hear a lot of different things. They hear that political spin about the fact that he is a mini Trump. We hear that a lot. So I think that can explain why people were searching yesterday. I think Pierre Poilievre did a good job too yesterday. It was effective. It wasn't too aggressive. Maybe some people were also surprised to see that he had a lot of different proposition ideas on a number of issues that are very, very important for the voters. So maybe that can explain to the Google search on Pierre Poilievre.
The big prize is tonight, the English debate, because it comes down to Ontario, in my opinion. And feel free to disagree with that, but I think that's what it comes down to.
No, I agree with you.
So tell me tonight if you think we will see something different. Will the knives, the darts, whatever way you want to put it, will there be a little more fireworks tonight?
I don't think so. I think we are going to get the same kind of debate we had yesterday, because I said it earlier, I think fear is very present right now. So all the leaders, they want to remain really, really calm. They want to balance between attacking, proposing, being constructive. Mr. Poilievre couldn't be as aggressive as he was as an opposition leader in the last years. He needs to appear like a prime minister. Mr. Blanchet needs to appear like he understands the fear of the voters. So I think the more aggressive will, again, be Mr. Singh, because yesterday you saw he had this little ridiculous fight with the moderator, Patrick Roy, who did an incredible job yesterday. But Mr. Singh wanted to talk about health, and that was not the topic, and health is not a federal jurisdiction. So Mr. Roy decided to cut the microphone because Mr. Singh he was cutting and talking over the other leaders. He had two warnings, and then the microphone was cut. So Mr. Singh is the most aggressive, and that can be surprising, but because he's usually very well behaved and very kind, but right now he has a lot to lose too.
I'm just so happy the Canadians wrapped it up last night so that people didn't have to watch a Columbus Blue Jackets game tonight instead of the debate.
I'm in Quebec City. I don't watch hockey because we lost our hockey team 30 years ago, and I'm still mad about it. So I really don't care about hockey. I'll be watching the debate.
This is important, Antonine, because all I want is one of these candidates to say, I'm bringing back the Nordiques and the Expos.
Thank you.
Right? Bring back the Nordiques and the Expos. You can take my vote.
Is this a federal jurisdiction, though? I'm not sure.
You know what? Hockey and national sports, national unity, I say it is.
Okay.
Okay, Antonine, be well. Thanks so much.
Have a good day.
Antonine Yaccarini, political analyst right there.